Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series Bumblebee movie concept art line, Megatron. Yes, Megatron. He was one of my top figures last year, when I did my ratings. I actually don't remember. Was he 3? I think he was 3. And if I'm being honest, this is a one-trick pony kind of figure. This guy has such an amazing robot mode, but everything else might kind of fumble it. And looking at said robot mode, man, that's a very beautiful Megatron. It really is. They got the silver where it needs to be. It's not everywhere, but again, it's in just the right places. Chest piece looks phenomenal. The arms look great. The detailing is awesome. The legs also look phenomenal. And I mean, there's a lot of cool things. And he's also pretty clean on the back. There's not much there. I mean, he's pretty much just an action figure, if you were to look at him. Like, there's really no hint that he does transform, really. That's the weird part. There's, like, nothing. No hints, nothing. Everything is hidden so well. Like, it kind of got, like, some molded details in there, pretty much. But nothing, like, sticks out of place or anything, like usual. He's just so irregular. And, I mean, as far as the robot does go, I mean, oh, boy. It is nice. It is beautiful. His one accessory, of course, being his fusion cannon, which looks great. The head sculpt, the sculpting up there is great. Once again, they love with just doing the crazy detailing. They really do. I mean, there's not much wrong with this robot. This robot looks great. The paint, everything is awesome. There is one thing that he does a lot better than most, though, which is his articulation. They pretty much stacked this guy. So we have a ball joint in the head, which looks pretty much everywhere you need. Outward does have a butterfly joint. Nice. Forward and back. Elbow is a bit more than 90, which is nice. Hands do rotate. He does have individual fingers, weirdly enough. So you have the bottom 3, and then the pointer finger is severed, so you can actually get him, like, pointing and stuff, which is pretty cool, you know? Get the little points going. Other than that, he does have his typical waist swivel, forward, back, outward, swivel, knee joint goes well beyond 90. He does have an ankle tilt, and he does have forward and back, so kind of an overachiever for Transformers and articulation. This guy is very poseable. And I do mean very poseable. There is not a lot wrong with him. And boy, oh boy, is he good. But that's obviously not the end. He's a Transformer. He transforms, and he's a triple changer. Not that he turns into anything. So as far as it goes to transform him, we're going to actually start with the tanks. We're going to leave that there. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of an intermediate, you need to do this no matter what step, is take his hands and fold them in. They have to go in a very specific way, though. That's the weird part. They have to, like, go in this stupid specific finger way. So you got to take the pointer finger and put that one in all the way, and then take this one so it's like that. So you got to have them in this type of position. This one over here is not quite where it's supposed to be, but they got to be like that exactly. And then you open up the arm panel, and then you fold the hands in like so. And he does have these little, like, peg things, so I feel like if a third party got involved, they could make his little mace. I think they genuinely could, because that peg is there, and I'm pretty sure it is big enough. Also has a blast effect port on it, pretty much. So that's something. But as far as it goes, to continue this, first thing I'm going to do is come to the back and undo the arms, like so. You're then going to take the head, rotate it around, and do that. Fold up these little panels right there. And then you're going to take the legs and you're going to pull them. This is going to take me a second here because sometimes they're a little iffy to get out. I had to do that off camera because it was just not going. But you basically pull them out and reveal all these little struts here. And once you have all those little struts revealed and everything like that, come to the legs and the wing things down here, little wing tips. They will fold out, but not fully. So fold the little wing tip in like that. And then you're going to undo the side. And then you're going to just come in and do that. Once that's done, you got to fold the foot up in like so. And you can take the little wing, fold that back down. And that is one leg of two done. And then the other one's the same exact thing. So you just do that. Again, pegs in kind of up at the toe. Make sure everything's good. And we should be good to go. With that, you then take this side, put the legs in, and there's a tab right there, and then a slot on the wing, which goes like that, and we're pretty much getting there at this point. Now for the arms, which aren't difficult, they're just a little odd. So they kind of go on an angle. One arm has a peg, the other one has a slot. And then from there, you want to take the cannon, move it forward on the hinge, take the arm, fold it in, and then fold that like so. And then that should just sit there like that. And then we have the tank mode after like 4 minutes of transformation, because it's not super easy to transform, but it's not like it's difficult. And this guy's an odd one because I have an odd issue. I can transform pretty much any transformer unless they turn into nothing. Yeah, this guy kind of turns into nothing. He turns into the metal slug tank. And as far as it goes, I mean, it's a tank. I mean, it's not hard to screw up a tank, though. Like, what are you going to do? Just give it a big gun on the top and some treads, which I forgot to do this step. Always do. You are supposed to pull down these treads on the back here. They barely pull down. Like, at all. Like, they barely pull down. You're supposed to, though. You're supposed to do it. I don't usually end up doing it, honestly. And for some reason, this is just not pegging in at all. Why? Why not? It doesn't want to peg into the good spot. I don't know. And everything's kind of odd because something's misaligned in this leg. But yeah, the tank mode's kind of there. It's certainly a thing. I don't have any issues with it. I mean, it's better than his next one. I mean, the turret at least does move in all the directions, so there's that. That's him. That's the tank. So let's get into the next one, which is a jet mode, which, honestly, easier to go from robot. Alright, so the only step you kind of need between the modes is the hands. So just don't touch those. Everything else, completely fine. Leave it how it is. So, to do this part of it now, same thing applies in a lot of places. So for this section, though, you're just not going to touch it for the majority of it. The whole arm section here, you're not touching it. Most of this is handled by the legs, if I'm being honest. Same thing up here at the head, though. Do that. Fold these off to the side. Then you can fold out this part, though, which is like a little cockpit section. And then these parts here, they just fold in, and they're kind of like a little cover, I guess, for the hollow spot. It's a little iffy, but okay. take the arms, do that, and actually what you're going to want to do is take this section here, and it's just going to fold around a little bit, and it's going to just end up covering over the head like that. So that's what you're going to do with the back, and then you're just not going to touch the arms, so you got the wings. So rotate the waist around, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Am I wrong? I think I'm wrong. I always screw this up somewhere along the way. But basically, you're going to want the... Actually, it is this way. I'm remembering. But you're going to want the legs this way nonetheless, because there's slots on the gray side. And those gray slots are going to go into the kind of crotch pieces. They're there. They've been there the whole time, but they're just a little weird. You're going to want to rotate the legs this way. From there, do the same thing with the legs. Now, I know someone's saying, why did you do it back to robot? It's because it's a little bit easier, honestly. And I'm going to do the same thing again that we did, which is this. But instead of leaving this black piece how it was, it flips around, forming a booster. So that's something. And that has another peg in there. You're then going to take this kind of black and silver part, move it up. And then the knee is going to bend, and it is going to snap in on the tread. Flip that part forward like that. Take this, and that will peg in right there. Take the arm and fold it down under. And it doesn't really peg in anywhere, if I'm being honest with you. It just kind of is using that one very small connection point that I showed you with the crotch piece. That's your point of connection for the whole wing. And that goes for both sides, both times. Which, again, is a little strange. You're then just going to do the same thing again. Peg that in. You might have to use a little more force than you think you need for the kind of tread connection. It feels like you probably shouldn't push on it as hard as you end up having to push on it, but you do have to put a little bit into it. And then from there, you're basically done. So if you just leave it with this, really not that hard, but technically the cannon is supposed to be in there. Oh boy. Here we go. You put the cannon on like that. And then from there, it should be rotated down. And then from there, do that. And it kind of like sits on this like little hump here at the back. There's like a little tab like that. And you can rotate that. There's not really a point in pegging it in. At least I don't see it. And there you go. There is your alt form. And it's, honestly, I prefer the jet mode, but the tank's just so much easier and kind of more cohesive than the jet mode. Like, there's parts of the jet mode I like. I like kind of like these big wings going on. I think they're pretty cool. And then, like, I like the little, like, cockpit area thing. It's cool, I guess, but the tank just clearly was meant to be, where this is just kind of thrown in. Kind of reminds me of the animated alt form. I feel like that's what a lot of people say about it, is it's kind of like the anime, because it's odd that we haven't had many Jet Megatrons in recent memory. He's been a tank for, like, years now. Is it, like, Prime was the last time he was, like, not a tank? I think that might be, are we, no, we'll count the Bayverse, because that was also a jet mode. But since then, he's been a tank. So 2017 onward, he's been a tank. And I mean, it's cool. There's a bunch of weird hidden modes in there, too, if you want to look into them. I'm not going to show them. There's a gun. There's an elephant. A hand. It's basically like they said, you know what, let's do RID Megatron, pretty much. And that's him. That's definitely him. So let's just get to the final thoughts on him. Which, honestly, the alt mode is, the alt modes are disappointing. They really are. They're not great. They're kind of nothings. Because a tank and a jet are like the two easiest things to get away with making nothings, in my opinion. They're the two easiest ones. There's nothing that's particularly difficult about them. Like, all you really have to do is make a turret for a tank and give it some treads. Look at Skullgrin. Somehow he failed at being a tank, but... Or Legacy Skullgrin, I should say. Somehow he failed at it, but that's because he missed a set of treads. Literally, that figure was Quake's treads away from being perfect. And this guy here, I mean, he has everything in the book to be a good tank. And also just being a good figure in general. I mean, the robot mode's great. I actually need something to... get the thing here. Let's grab a guitar pick off to the side, because these sections don't want to come out. Come on. Open. That should be good enough. Come on. There we are. But it should be good enough as a tank. The jet mode, again, it's another thing you can kind of get away with, is making nothings. And did they? I mean, the jet mode looks cool. I will say that. It does look cool. But, like, it seems like it's so half-assed. Just the connections aren't there. It's like, just how they did the wing connections. They're not sturdy at all. And if it just unpegs in the right spot, you're basically going to be losing the wings. You have to constantly fix them. I just missed the whole arm assembly. Great job, me. But we have that there. Give him his fusion cannon and his hands, obviously. Which, push him out. That's all you gotta do. Just use that little peg. Push him out. Ta-da. But overall, I mean, the robot mode is genuinely the best part about this figure. No doubt in my mind. I mean, if you're buying this guy, this is like the one thing everybody wanted with him. Why is the camera tilted? There we go. But the one thing most people wanted was this robot. I mean, the alt forms, secondary, they're there. But again, they're kind of the largest issue. And I don't want to give him a 5 out of 5 just off of it. So I'm going to give him a 4. He's going to get a 4. Because I don't hate the alt modes, but they really are just the half-assed alt modes. They're just not the best ones. Again, they're usually Megatron's alt forms, but there's genuine flaws. The tank mode, I'm fine with that one. It's the jet mode that's just like, we threw that in there. That's the typical triple changer method, though, of we do 2 good, and then we do the third one not as good. Because look at, like, Blitzwing, for instance. Robot mode, almost perfect. Tank mode, pretty great. And then the jet mode of Legacy Blitzwing happens, and you're like, what happened? What happened? But this guy, I mean, he is recommended. I'd say if you can get him, get him. You're not going to be disappointed with him, at least as a figure anyway. Most people display their stuff in robots anyway, so yeah, you're not going to be mad at him, honestly. And I didn't really mention he's a leader class either. He is leader-sized, he is large, but again, it's mostly going into all the engineering, which he has a lot of moving parts. A lot of moving parts. So yeah, I'm going to give him that 4 out of 5. I think he's great, and genuinely he's one of the must-buys. Again, I gave him 3 on my year-end list. He actually did make it over multiple 5 out of 5s, genuinely. But that's just because of this robot, honestly. The robot's 5 out of 5. Everything else is a 4 out of 5. That is it, though. That has been my review of Transformers Studio Series Bumblebee Movie Concept Series line. What a mouthful. Can we get more of these, too, by the way? Please, more concepts, please. But that is all. Thank you guys for watching.